What's up, WrestleManiacs? So Anthony Richard Wrestling back here once again, and I have a guest with me at this time. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, what's going on, Wrestling Maniacs? I'm here, big time, California, hometown of Venice Beach, baby. You know where that is. What do you say, Wrestling Maniacs host? I'm just here hanging out with you, getting ready to do some SmackDown and talk a lot about some draft time, brother.
All right. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, I'm here. Name's Backyard, the host of Backyard Toy Adventures. You can come and visit me anytime, YouTube, and check me out on my toy adventures.
All right. If you heard that, WrestleManiacs, though, you know that you don't forget to go to his channel, though, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. So today we are going to be doing some topics on pro wrestling as usual. Today we're going to be, doing a lot of talk about pro wrestling. So, what shall we call you on the channel?
Just call me the ghost host this time of the year. No, you can just call me. Not sure. Just
how about the Toy Man?
The Toy. Yeah, just call me the Toy Man. Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. So right here we got the Toy Man with us, who's actually going to be with us with the topics and stuff about pro wrestling. So WrestleManiacs, remember, if you got any questions for us, though, you can always feel free to give us some questions in the chat.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about a minute about the draft yesterday that happened on SmackDown.
Yeah, what'd you think about that? What's your biggest takeaway there?
My biggest takeaway that I had to say was that the New Day, because they were together for a long time.
Right.
And it was really, really sad that Big E and Xavier Woods and Kofi had to break up.
Well, you knew that was bound to happen. It just goes to show you, like so many teams in years past that you've seen split up because, first of all, of the draft, or because of them breaking up somehow, like Roman Reigns and the crew.
Yeah, of course, especially now on SmackDown. What we got now on SmackDown is the former Monday Night Messiah himself, Seth Rollins, who is now on SmackDown. But unfortunately, he isn't there for long to hide from the Mysterio family.
Yeah, now how is he coming along? The new Mysterio kid. How does he look?
Dominic Mysterio, his skills are completely unique and unparalleled because he really has the skills to do no matter what it takes, though, to become a champion one day, just like his dad did.
I remember watching him when he was a kid, when he'd come out with his dad in the wrestling ring. I've seen him before when he was a kid.
Absolutely, and of course, what happened was that Rey Mysterio used to have a little rivalry once with the late Eddie Guerrero, when Eddie Guerrero claims that Dominic was his kid.
Right, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Well, it looks like somebody just popped in on the channel. Welcome.
Welcome to the show, WrestleManiacs.
Yeah. So the thing about Dominic Mysterio is that his skills are getting to be completely matched, just like his father, especially the 619 move.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how this kid, who is taller than his father, is able to pull off a 619 just like his dad did.
You're right. Now, what do you think about that 619? That's always...
It's never easy to do, though. Especially, I've seen Cesaro use it, like in the past. Though he used it as a way to show off his skills. He called that one the Swiss 19 at one point.
Now, which wrestler do you remember ever seeing getting in a situation where they're laying on the ropes. What's the most amazing wrestler you've seen actually get set up for the 619?
I would have to say, in particular, that one's a little bit of a tough one for me to call, but I'm gonna have to say it's mostly the Big Show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
because the Big Show was tied up on the rope at one point, and then out of nowhere, Mysterio was getting ready to hit the 619, and then Big Show was just lying across the rope, so he doesn't even know what the heck is going on.
That is the most amazing move.
And I bet in Big Show's mind though, he was like, oh, what the heck did I get myself into?
Well, he played it off really good too, because he actually got up and fell back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing about their best wrestlers. If you think back and knowing that they follow through with the wrestling move, that they play it well.
Exactly. That's the way that the wrestling business works. Is the wrestlers work really well with the wrestling moves, and they work really well. Like take example though, Marty Jannetty from years ago. He was wrestling a jobber that was in there at one point, and he, teaming up with Shawn Michaels at the time, was about to use the rocker dropper move. But then the guy jumped in the air and he landed right neck first, and unfortunately injured himself really, really bad.
Right.
And then from there, after the match though, he was like, I can't feel my legs. So he says, I can't move.
Exactly.
And Jannetty said at one point in his interview about that incident, he said, hey, I went with this with you, kid. I talked it with you, kid. I told you I'm going to use the rocker dropper on you. And he didn't even know he thinks it was a pile driver, though, so he figured he would jump. But instead, he didn't even know that Jannetty was going to hit the rocker dropper. So from there, the kid got hurt, and unfortunately, he wasn't unable to wrestle ever again.
So how did they split up the New Day? Did anybody go to the underground?
Not really. What happened was that, you mean like Raw Underground or something?
Yeah, because don't they? It's split up, right? So you got the underground.
Last Monday night, there was no underground. Sadly, though, they put that off until the draft was going to be over with.
Oh, I got you. So it's still just Raw, SmackDown, and the NXT. Is that right?
No, it's just Raw and SmackDown. NXT is a brand all of its own.
Oh, I see. But it's still not. It's still owned by the WWE, isn't it?
Yes, and what happens is that the NXT is actually got two separate NXT brands: the regular NXT and NXT UK, which is up in the United Kingdom.
Right. But the UFC. Do you think that the UFC is a setup? I'm starting to think that maybe the UFC is actually a setup as an entity of the WWE.
Well, the thing about
make it look like.
Yeah, the thing about UFC though is that that's the real knockdown fights where they really get hurt, because you got leather gloves connecting with flesh, and that really would hurt.
Does McMahon still own the UFC?
No, Vince McMahon does not own the UFC. Dana White actually owns the UFC.
Wasn't he gonna buy it though for a while?
Well, rumor has it that he tried to, but Vince never wanted to do that anyway, because he wanted to focus his time on his wrestling business and everything else.
Right. So who was the biggest surprise that you saw of the draft beyond the New Day?
The biggest surprise as of lately, though, is I had to say that one. I gotta say it's a little bit of a tough call, but I'm gonna have to go with Dana Brooks going to Raw, because I think originally she was on SmackDown, I think, and now she's on Raw.
Well, I think Dana Brooke, she's moving up in the rankings. Now that she's teamed up, is she still going to be teamed up with with the golden one.
You mean Mandy Rose? Mandy Rose is up in Raw. I think they're going to be teaming up, though, and I think that's going to be a good thing for them in the future to capture the Women's Tag Team Championship.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Hey,
I think
another guy came to the channel. Welcome.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Don't forget to get your wrestling figures at WrestlingFigures.com.
Yep. So anyway, that this is really good for the near future, that they can be able to climb up the ranks in the women's tag team division and capture those women's tag team championships.
Yeah. Now, who's the tag team champions on Raw? The women's.
Let's see. I know the last people that held them was Bayley and Sasha before they lost them to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Right. Now, do they still? They still must have it.
Yeah, Baszler and Jax, though, they are like an unlikely pair because you know they just don't like each other. They hate each other's guts.
Right.
And of course, here's a shock to most fans that I know about Shayna Baszler that most fans don't even know.
What's going on with Baszler?
It turns out that she is dating Jessamine Duke.
Jessamine Duke?
Yeah, the girl once from NXT who was a member of her Four Horsewoman.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, they teamed up with Marina Shafir, though, and they formed like this team, though, on NXT at one point.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, how about Charlotte? Has she returned to the WWE yet?
No one has ever heard hide of hair from Charlotte in weeks and months now, ever since she got hurt.
They say she may be pregnant. Is there any truth to that?
Unfortunately, it has not been confirmed yet, though, but we can't even tell yet because she is dating Andrade at the moment.
Right.
And I don't know if she's pregnant or anything, but we have not gotten any confirmation as of yet.
Now, as far as the women division goes, out of all the women wrestlers that you've ever seen wrestle, who had the best finishing move?
Who had the best finishing move? Well, my personal favorite that I really have to go with on this one is definitely got to be Asuka. I really have that in my personal favorite of that because I like her submission hold, which is really devastating. But if you have to talk about the greatest finishing move of all time, that I got to say in my mind, I gotta say it's gotta be the this one's a little hard to tell for sure, but I gotta say it's gotta be the figure 8 leg lock of Charlotte Flair's.
Think that's a pretty tough one, huh? Yeah, I have to agree. It's fairly. It seems that once you're in it, you're locked in tight.
Yeah, and don't forget though, the Asuka lock is also a good move too, though, because if you scissor the body, though, what happens is that they're never getting out of that.
Well, one of the most devastating moves I've ever seen a woman put on is the Widow's Peak.
That was created by Victoria, aka Tara of Impact Wrestling.
Has she got into the Hall of Fame yet?
No, she has not yet, but there's a rumor that states that she might get into the Hall of Fame, though, somewhat next year if they decided to give her a call.
Now, they were supposed to do the big Hall of Fame deal right before SmackDown, and because of the virus, I guess they postponed it.
Yeah, and not to mention, though, that was this year, though, that was the Hall of Fame, but it was also the same year when me and my friend Dana, we were supposed to go to WrestleMania this year.
Right.
We were supposed to go to WrestleMania this year, but unfortunately they canceled the event and they refunded our money for the tickets.
Had they already announced any Hall of Famers that were going to be set up for the Hall of Fame this year?
No, they haven't. I think they're going to be doing the Hall of Fame ceremony, I think, somewhere a little bit in December or a little bit during the next year in January during another episode of Raw.
Right. Now, what's going on with Alexa Bliss?
Well, it seems to me Alexa Bliss has actually gone under the possessional power of the Fiend Bray Wyatt. And it seems to me that this character, Bray Wyatt, he developed this fiendish look, which he's wearing this mask that is terrifying, though, that's supposed to be scary to lots of people. And the lantern that he carries to the ring, though, with that head on it, though, that is the most macabre thing I ever saw.
Yeah, that is amazing. I do got the figure of that, and it's amazing. What they do when they create action figures for the WWE now, and it's amazing. Yeah. The likeness that they're doing, it's incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of action figures, though, I got 2 Baileys, a Sarah Logan, and a Charlotte Flair from the women's division, but I got my old Chris Masters one on the wall, too.
Right. I have a Charlotte Flair. It's coming out. It's a special edition, exclusive from RingsideCollectibles.com, and it's their deluxe edition.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the ultimate, actually the ultimate collection is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
And she's going to be an amazing figure. And I also have a Bailey figure that's supposed to be coming out with it. And also I'm having Sasha Banks supposed to be coming out in it too.
Yeah, I was hoping to get an Asuka one because I really like Asuka. They're really, really good.
I'm getting closer to finishing my complete collection of the Evolution of my. I just want to collect all the Evolution women division figures.
Yep.
And that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I'm nipping at other figures only in the Ultimate division, only because like The Rock or Stone Cold or Hogan or
absolutely.
I can't collect all these figures. I mean, there's so many different figures.
Yeah, and speaking of wrestling figurines, the WWE is not the only place that's actually doing it. It's AEW as well.
Right, AEW. Now, what's going on in the AEW right now?
Well, let me give you the update on what's been going on. As of lately, back on Wednesday night, Cody Rhodes defeated Mr. Brody Lee to become the TNT champion again. They fought in one of the most. Amazing. They fought in one of the most brutal and one of the most horrifying matches of all time, a dog collar match.
Now, what do you think? Do you think AEW is really a separate entity, or are they connected to the WWE?
They are a complete separate entity, but I believe in my mind that both organizations, though, with the wrestling fans watching like this stuff, though, we're believing that the whole thing could become a whole nation, though, for people, though, because you can see there's many people in the pro wrestling community that would love to watch AEW on Wednesday nights, but like to watch Raw and SmackDown on Monday and Fridays.
Right.
And
now, what do you think? What do you think about the new Roman Reigns and his dealings with what you know about what's going to happen between him and his manager?
Well, in the past, though, I used to like Roman the way he was, but this new Roman Reigns, he sounds a little arrogant and he sounds very, very cocky.
That's a big switch over from the quiet Roman.
Yeah, and this new Roman now, he would just show up whenever he wants. So he's just like, hey, guess what? I'm just gonna jump in the ring and hit a spear or two on my opponent, and then that's it.
Right.
But of course, when it comes to other matches like a steel cage match or one-on-one match, he can't do that. He's just gonna have to come out and do it.
Right. Now he's staying on Raw then.
Roman is on SmackDown now. Actually, he's on SmackDown.
I gotcha.
But
now,
the only one that's on Raw still is Drew McIntyre.
I gotcha. Now, what do you think? How did Stephanie look on the draft show?
She really looks very lovely, but I don't want to go saying that because I don't want Triple H, kicking down my door and kicking my ass. I don't want that happening. I don't want him coming up with a sledgehammer in his hand and like, all right, who's the deadbeat who said my wife was pretty?
Right.
And I don't need that. I don't need him come knocking down my door and then just doing that. I just don't need that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news, though.
Yeah. And the coolest, the other thing that's been going on also in the other organization is that last Wednesday though was the 30th anniversary of Chris Jericho being in the pro wrestling business.
Wow.
30 years in the business. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, he started when he was very, very young. And he started off though alongside with Lance Storm, who was also a fellow wrestler as well, a fellow Canadian like him.
Right.
And now
how about
And now since Jericho is now getting a little bit older though, what's happening is that he's going to pretty soon teach these younger guys on everything about the business.
Exactly. Now what's going on with Randy Orton?
Well, Randy, as of lately, he's been targeting Drew McIntyre for weeks at the most, though, trying to get the WWE Championship off of McIntyre for some time now. But McIntyre is a stubborn Scotsman. He will not let go of that title without a fight. But Orton is doing whatever he can to injure. But he's going to injure McIntyre and do whatever he can to put him on the shelf. But McIntyre says, nope.
Now, what about Jeff Hardy?
Well, Jeff Hardy, though, he actually started wrestling back at the Clash of Champions Gold Rush when he got his ear handcuffed to a ladder by Sami Zayn.
Oh, wow. That had to hurt.
Yeah, Sammy had Jeff lying on the ground. Then he takes the handcuffs and puts one on Jeff's earlobe, which was opened, and put the other one on the ladder. Then he goes over to the ring, and he was fighting off against AJ Styles until he handcuffs himself to AJ, and then they were fighting on the ladder while Jeff has to carry that ladder right to the ring with his ear attached to it.
You know who I'd like to see come back to wrestling?
Who would you like to see?
Alberto Del Rio.
I really think there might be a slim chance for him coming back because a long time ago he said some really bad things when he was in Impact Wrestling. When he was in Impact, he said a lot of bad things about the WWE.
I gotcha.
Yeah, he was in the middle of the ring, microphone in hand, he says, listen up, he goes, this is not like that WWE shit. This is wrestling. This is Impact Wrestling. And for that,
boy.
And for that, he got in trouble for that. And that's what caused Del Rio to get himself into a lot of trouble with the WWE. And I'm sure they have not forgiven him for that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing wrestling, I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the future of wrestling.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Also, lately on Tuesday nights on the Twitch channel, I've been watching Impact Wrestling, which I find it completely amazing.
And it looks good.
Yeah, and I was watching it as of lately, and I'm seeing that somewhere at the pay-per-view event that Smiley Kylie Ray is going to try to win the Knockouts Championship from Deonna Purrazzo.
Now, how about Big Cass? You think he might come back?
I think he might come back, but it's a little highly unlikely. But we can never tell until what the future is going to hold for this kid.
Now, what's the next biggest event coming up? Should be coming up with Survivor Series, shouldn't it?
I think it might be the Survivor Series, but coming up for NXT, though, NXT is going to have their own little event as well called Halloween Havoc, which they have taken the WCW name of Halloween Havoc and made it their own.
Right. I remember it used to be the WCW, or Halloween Havoc. Right.
Yeah, many different moments in Halloween Havoc I kind of remembered. Especially the one match I remembered was Cactus Jack versus Vader, Texas Death Match.
Right. How about those days when they used to have the Bash at the Beach?
Yeah, I remember those days too with the Bash at the Beach. So, such great stars came out, like the Stinger, Ravishing Rick Rude, and all of those names. They just came out and they entertained the fans nonstop.
Yeah, it was exciting when we had Sting here, but he was really at the end of his career, really. And when he came to WWE.
Yeah, because he's getting a little bit older though, and he won't be able to do it anymore because of too many injuries that he had. And it played a toll on him.
Have we seen the end of John Cena?
I believe everybody is thinking that they might see an end of John Cena because John Cena is planning to go into Hollywood and he was planning to do some movies just like The Rock did.
Right. And how about this new movie that The Rock is supposed to be doing? What is it? It's a Disney movie with the boat, the Jungle Cruise.
Oh, that one? I have not seen the trailer of it yet, though, but I heard that it's probably going to be a really good movie, as I heard of.
Yeah, The Rock and the Jungle Cruise. I did see the trailer for it. It looks pretty good. And it's coming out. It should be coming out soon because I don't know if they're going to have it direct to Disney Plus or they're just going to wait it out until after maybe the first of the year and see what happens.
Yeah, we will see what happens on there. Of course, on top of that, The Rock has done a lot of movies, of course, though, like The Fast and the Furious. He also did the movie with Sean William Scott in it, though. I forgot what the name of that movie is because it's been a long time.
Right. Now, last week I asked you to check out this wrestling called GTS.
GTS?
Yeah, you didn't get. Did you get a chance to check that out yet?
I have not yet, though. I haven't checked it yet. So, is it on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This GTS wrestling, and it's a lot of backyard type wrestling going on. And,
gosh! Don't get me started with backyard wrestling. I watched a lot of those.
You would love this show, and he really goes all out and does a lot of funny skits and a lot of wrestling moves.
Yeah.
This is your show, right up your alley.
That's funny because one of my friends, Zach Monstar, he used to wrestle in his backyard at one point, and then from there, he was told one day, he's like, he was approached by Jordan, and he was like, hey, how would you like to be a partner of my organization? And Zach's like, sure. And
nice.
now Zach is not only one of the owners of Real Pro Wrestling, but he's also a wrestler there too. He wrestles on his own show as well.
It seems like we're really getting into like the old days of pro wrestling where you had so many different wrestling associations going on.
Yeah, and the other thing is when I watch my friend Zach wrestle, he is no joke in the ring. He he's like the type of guy that will kick anybody's friggin' head off, though, because he's really serious in the ring when he gets into that mode.
Oh yeah, usually those ones that are working out of their backyard from the start,
Yeah.
they usually are.
Yeah. I remembered back 2 years ago when I went to my first RPW show. Zach came coming out of the corner and almost kicked the guy's head off with a bicycle kick, which he calls it the Avisoir knee.
Nice.
But instead he missed, and of course the stipulation for that matchup that day was if he was to lose, then his rival Chuck Taylor was going to shave his dreadlocks off. But if Zach was to win the match, he was going to shave Chuck Taylor's head off.
Yeah.
And that day, Zach won the match and shaved not only Chuck Taylor's hair, but shaved off the beard and mustache.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was also the day that I also saw one of my new favorite female wrestlers there. And that's when I saw Roxy Rouge.
When's the last time you were at a wrestling show, like signatures and things like that?
The last time I went to a wrestling event, though, you mean like any type of organization or any of the ones?
No, just where they give out autographs, in the back, or like at a convention, things like that.
Well, the last time I went to an event, though, was the local wrestling event that I go to, though, they do autograph signing over there too, though, because it's not in a coliseum that it is. It was like inside of a convention center that's in. Like
that's what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's inside of a community center that we were in, because during intermission, though, the wrestlers would come out and they would go to their booths and stuff like that. And of course, I met one of the wrestlers there at one point back in 2008. His name was Rex Batchus, so I met him. He was a really sweet dude. He was really nice. But sadly, last year, he passed away from cancer.
Right.
And
well, the last signature I was able to get was Candice Michelle. And Candice Michelle actually is hooked up in a program with people that are deaf, that they do sign language, and she belongs with them, and she owns a she was with my daughter and my sister, and they went on a flying balloon, one of those big hot air balloons.
Yeah.
And she gave them, because they told her that I was a big wrestling fan, and things like that, and so she signed an autograph for me, a personalized autograph. I'll definitely send you over a picture, and you could add it into the video or whatever. And I
don't have a camera, unfortunately, for me to stream, though. I'm just doing it on my PlayStation until I can, come up with enough money to do that.
Right. Well, you could do it off your phone, and do all that. But, I really appreciate your time, and let me being on your show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, though, man. I mean, that's really good. And, I remember the last year I met Gangrel again, though, at the brewery, though, last year. He was actually sitting in the crowd, though, while he was actually having a beer and having something to eat, though, at the time. And I talked to him. He was a really good guy.
Oh, really?
And I gave him a lot of praise on how much he trained his students, especially another favorite female that I like there, Anna Diaz, and she is one of his students.
Nice.
The
last time I was at an event, I was at a convention. It was a comic book convention, and Rob Van Dam had showed up, and he was at the time he was still the Intercontinental Champion, and he let my son hold his belt, and we all took pictures next to him, and yeah, it was Rob Van Dam, a really nice guy. You know, he's a lot taller than he looks on TV.
Wow. Wow, that is totally amazing. That is amazing indeed.
I'm 6'3", okay? I'm 6'3", and Rob Van Dam made me look small. That's how big Rob Van Dam is. Uh-huh.
Wow. You know, there was another wrestler that I met at the event as well. His name was Jesse Neal. He used to be an Impact Wrestler, and this guy was taller than I am, and he was like towering over me, and I was like, holy smokes!
Right.
Yeah, I remember that I used to watch him on TV with Shannon Moore at one point, but this guy, he is taller than I was. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and then one time I was at Toys R Us, and I got a figure signed from Rey Mysterio. You remember when he came out in his Flash costume?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, they made a figure of his Flash costume, and he actually signed it. I ended up selling it on eBay, though. At the time, I wasn't. At the time, I didn't think Rey Mysterio was going to be that big of a wrestler.
Yeah, and now you see Rey Mysterio, though he is now. Though he's definitely a legend in the business now. He's really a huge legend.
Oh yeah, they're going to put him in the Hall. That's why he's really there right now, because they want to set it up so he could enter into the Hall of Fame at this point.
Absolutely, I would love to see him go into the Hall of Fame though, in next year, of course, which that would be really cool.
Out of the women, who do you think right now, out of all the women, who do you think will be going into the Hall of Fame next?
Out of the women that were going into the Hall of Fame, well, I think that I would have to go harken back to the Attitude Era a little bit, and I gotta say Terry Runnels, though, because she was a great manager, and she managed a lot of people, including Goldust, as well as Perry Saturn, and she managed a lot of people.
All right, well, I would like to thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Feel free to add me in anytime you need me. We talk up wrestling and get people excited about the wrestling business.
Absolutely.
And getting people back in.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be able to do another round table when I get another chance to do so. We can do another round table.
You bet you believe it. And just want to make sure to let everybody know, check me out on YouTube, Backyard Toy Adventures. And you can be checking out all my different collections of, I got wrestling figures even. And so check me out, Backyard Toy Adventures.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. So I have to thank you
much.
You're quite welcome, and I'm going to thank all the WrestleManiacs for watching for today's video. And I hope they like this video. Give me a thumbs up on this video. That if you want to see some more videos, including the roundtable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And hopefully, I will see all of you back at this channel. Until then, I'd say, shine on, WrestleManiacs!